The Splat charger is your most basic charger weapon or sniper, as people tend to call it, not in shooters. It's 300 damage when fully charged, 50 damage with taps, up to 150 damage with partial charges, although 150 exactly, it's not really feasible to reach. More or less partial, but that's only when application where you are really using them. Point of this, let me show it with a star here. That's good. That's good enough coverage. Overall, paint is rather slow. You can do a partial to paint a pathway yourself. The coverage you see, it's really poor with this. You can also do like this. Gives you somewhat okay coverage, but it's slow. You can do that before a wave if you really have to. Gonna be slow. Yeah, usually, we really feel the surfaces like. I think not really backward. No. Just spread out the lanes a bit. That should be good too. Okay, so let's talk about a range. Of course, this has high range, but that should go without saying. But there are short range charges as well. Yeah, not this one. Pretty high range. No, 300 damage. That means it's exactly your pretty much perfect and you still had weapon. I read there's one thing I forgot about how the weapon works, and that is it's rather inefficient actually. So 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it can only fire 5 shots out of a full ink tank, or if you throw a bomb, then only 1 shot. Getting to the second somewhat fast, at least in this game. This new, this was actually not true in the previous game because bombs are more expensive. Yeah, this charger is very ink inefficient, unfortunately. I really wish it would have more than just 5 shots on a full tank. It is what it is. So you are not really ever bombing and using the main weapon at the same time, because only thing that you can do with one shot is that pretty much. Like pierce the lane of lasers. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I guess you can do this. Like bomb a more and then kill a cog, that is something you can do at least. Okay, which is fair enough, of course. Yeah, when it comes to 500 HP targets, this was a really bad thing, especially the bomb shot hit it. Yeah, you cannot really kill that after armor, unless you do have the time a bit extra, but then you're gonna have literally nothing right after that, and it's just annoying. Anyway, 500 HP bosses for the scrap armor precisely, which is 600 HP, you do wanna just do 2 fully charged shots. But for killing 500 HP bosses themselves, which is the scrapper bag and the ones here displayed, and goldies as well, fastest way to do it, to do a full charge and then 4 taps. It is just a few frames faster than doing 2 full charges, and also uses up less ink. Try to preferably do that, however when you're too far away, then by all means do full charges still. And no, there's not a way to shortcut that with a partial. You would never be dealing enough damage. Full charges. 6, you can climb them and tap them down if they really have to, but the rhythm is somewhat precise. You can mess up there and need 2 seconds for playing. I mostly prioritize just painting them so that someone else can climb them and someone else is ideally better at killing them. Nothing else is to do then by all means. And something that you at least get for claiming fish sticks and killing them up there is they're a really nice vantage point for you to snipe things. Well, especially useful in high tide waves. High tide waves do get pretty crowded at times, and whenever that happens, there's nowhere really to go for you. And low tide as well, actually, on some maps. As long as you do not get attacked up here, it's a nice spot. But that's also still steelhead, so careful with that. Something that you can do is like charge up here and then put down with a charge. Ready, snap then. Oh yeah, right, that is also something I forgot to mention when the two-other weapon works. So charges for 1 second roughly. Let me remove that paint, that's more clearly visible. And whenever that thing there goes away, that is when using the shot. It's not too useful on this specific one, but pretty useful on a few other chargers that also have this feature. Not all of them have it though, so careful there. Okay. Then lids specifically. Can snap them really nicely from the ground. Let's pretend like the top of the steelhead there. But aiming is somewhat precise, so especially if you have high sensitivity like me, then be very careful there to not miss when releasing the button due to the slight motion that causes to the controller. Yeah, that is a really useful thing to do anyway. However, do pay attention to teammates that are trying to lower it and crush some. That it is appreciated if you do not mess with their plans to, like, say, kill something that is unalert. Can be hard to pay attention to it sometimes, I know, but if you can learn to do that, you're gonna be a better teammate. And then lessers, let's actually talk about lessers. You do wanna ideally run away from them for the most part, and then what you will usually get is they're walking at you in a straight line. You can pierce them with full charges. Multiple cohorts as well, of course. You're not dying, but you're still piercing them. If you're dealing with a single cohort, what you then can do is double tap. This is also how you kill straight chumps. The double tap is of course a lot faster and more efficient than a full charge. If you have multiple cohorts, then just multiple full charges. If it's 2 of them exactly, then you can still do the 4 taps. It's the equivalent to 500 HP burst. As soon as it's 3 of them or other things that you wanna hit, then the double full charge is better. Yeah, anyway, either works still, it's not the end of the world if you do the wrong one. But... yeah. Oh yeah, right, stingers. Talk about stingers. People often falsely believe that it's not the charger's job to go after stingers. Well, you couldn't be more wrong, it's actually quite decent at stingers, I'd say. There are also multiple ways to deal with them. The preferred way is to chuck a bomb at it as you're approaching it, and then tap other pots down, and for the topmost pot, you tap it twice, or what's slightly faster than tapping it twice is doing a quick partial, 60 HP. Yeah, a pretty quick partial of this. This. If you do not have the ink for a bomb or just already happen to be close and not even approaching, then just partial 7 times, and that is a stinger. Right, that should, I believe, cover. Oh yeah, right, now big shots. Big shots are of course 4 shots, Drizzlers are 3 shots, exactly 3 fully charged shots. Well, for one cycling, the Drizzler, the timing is rather tight. So you should hit the first one right as it opens. This, then immediately charge again. One nice thing that you can do here is the charges are buffered, so do not watch the whole animation of releasing the shot. You can immediately hold the R again and you will be charging. There's nothing to fear there. Just input buffering. We'll show that off here because, you know, just hard to show, but just so you know. Then big shots, it's 4 shots, and if there are multiple of them, try to line them up because you do not have armor, so you are piercing them. Only thing that you're not piercing is armor. Oh yeah, and as far as Drizzler piercing goes, course, you can pierce through the vulnerable part of it, so there's stuff behind it, you can hit that too. Or in front of it. That much is obvious. Alright, talk about night waves. Most interesting one to talk about here is Rush. What you usually wanna do on Rush is focus Goldies and Eggs. What you can also do is tap shot the Rush champs, you're one-shotting them. Especially the stragglers you do wanna clean out with this, it's really nice to do that while running Eggs. Combines with each other nicely. Barely uses any ink. Nice. And if no one is actually shooting the rush early, what you can also do is just use the whole lanes with full charges. But be careful to not kill Goldies too early. It would mainly happen when other players are already firing at the rush, then you don't explicitly not wanna do that and just the Goldies come to basket and kill them there instead. Or let another weapon do it and run X. You have to get a feel for that, for what happens are, if you're playing with a team, then you something before your session. Yeah, that is about Charger and Rush. It's rather defenseless, but still somewhat feasible. Driller, stay away from small frays. You really hate small frays. Not with a stun, however, you cannot stun on one shot. Did 401 to get the stun, which is really annoying and really slow. Hopefully someone else would be fine. But then of course do damage to the gorilla with 1 or 2 full charges and then tap for the rest, depending on what weapon comp is. Fast they can DPS it. The DPS of the charger itself, it's really low, it's like 170 or something, I don't know. Not noteworthy, of course. Basically a glass cannon, if well, except it does. I mean, yeah. I mean, it does the burst damage, I guess. Super big burst damage, but still. Matmouse, prioritize the cohogs at the golden Matmouse and just delete them all. Chargers are some of the best weapons to do that. Chargers, that is like fun. On Seeking, try to open gushers that are hard to reach for other weapons and easy to reach for you. Which may or may not be sometimes the actual far gushers. You make it based on your positioning anyway, and are set up in such a way that you can, you wanna open Goldie dice. But then finally, Mothership are one of the longest range weapons in the game. And the Spiral and Sokai are behind the basket on any wave that doesn't have that spiral, pretty much. And make sure to hit Chinooks right as they're passing over basket or over the middle of the map and that. Whatever makes the most sense there. And do not run too many extra like you can multitask it a bit for sure while you're refilling. Make sure you're hitting all the Chinooks. Pretty much. Gonna be a good time there. Really good for getting high scores as well. Yeah, it is the Splat Charger.